Chris Conley on the set of the Blood. Thank you. Chris Conley in Pasadena on the set of the blood and gag-filled sequel to Scream, where we'll serve up the stars and count up the carnage.
Roll sound, please. We're rolling.
Rolling. Quiet, folks. We're rolling.
You know, I missed my opportunity.
Hey, Mark.
Kevin Williamson wrote the first one.
Right.
Wrote this one, and he really stepped it up. As opposed to high school students analyzing horror films, it's now become about a bunch of film students in film school analyzing horror sequels to find out the next step of the killer. So it's really clever how it stepped it up.
So did you know from the very beginning, I mean, even when you were doing the last one, that they wanted you to come back for number 2?
I was signed on. In my contract. But you never really know. It always depends on how the first one does, whether they're going to make a second one. We didn't know at the time, but obviously it did quite well. So.
And did you know what would happen to your character? Did you get any kind of input saying, you know, I'd like to live, I'd like to not be a victim the whole time, I'd like to get a little?
Not really. I have a great trust in Kevin Williamson, and the writer, and also in Wes, and knew that they do a good job with the character, and it's not in their best interest to make her look like a victim constantly either. So, no, I trusted that they would make her stronger, and they have.
What we are really continuing is the story of the heroine, of Neve Campbell's character.
Is it weird to do it with the scrutiny of the internet, as you mentioned before? Everyone dying to know what happens in the movie, who lives, who dies?
That's been very strange. The first 40 pages that came in from Kevin, I think the next night they were on the internet.
Wow.
We had no idea how they got there, but we suddenly realized, my God, this is a new day. You really have to take extraordinary measures. So thereafter, we all bought shredders, and we were printing out on paper that couldn't be Xeroxed, and passes, and you know, I literally shred every call sheet I have at the end of the day after I do my shot list for the next day. I shred everything. I look like a confetti manufacturer, you know, if you look at me in trash day.
We didn't get the last scene until the day we were shooting it. So it's very classified, very top secret. It's kind of fun. I feel like James Bond when I get an envelope at home delivered by an armed guard, and you know, I have no idea what it is. I open it up and it's revisions to a scene. Now, I'm like, you guys are gonna be kidding me. I have to sign my name and everything.
Jerry was just telling us, you guys didn't exactly get to take the script home and show it to everybody.
No, you know what was very funny? Before I got the job, you know, I hadn't even read the script. And I started to dawn on me, like, what if I'm just not in this for more than 2 minutes, you know?
Now, did you feel any awkwardness about coming into the second film in a series when everybody has relationships?
Hell no! I think every actress in town wanted to come into this, the second part of this series. Like, they killed off a bunch of them, you know.
This has all the hallmarks of a disaster because it went ahead so fast, and it wasn't written when we started, and many pictures get in terrible trouble that way. It's just the fact that Kevin stayed with it, and it was writing all the time while we were in pre-production, all the time, even while we were shooting. He would be on the set writing, you know, a week or two ahead.
The movie is slated to be released less than a year from the release of the first film, in which the few plucky survivors managed to make it to college somehow, where they have a little more on their minds than just getting their papers in on time. Now, Sydney was a pretty smart cookie last time around, and was a lot smarter at the end of the movie than she was at the beginning. How does that knowledge help her as she begins this movie?
Well, I think because she had gone through such great trauma in the first film, she's come into a place where she's definitely a lot braver and knows what it is to deal with, I guess, serial killers or people who are after her. It sounds kind of silly, but you know, if you're going to be in circumstances like that, you are going to learn from it and become stronger for it.
Derek is a Delta Lambda big brother, and we like to keep it in the family.
How'd they get you in this thing? What are you doing in this movie?
I play a very nasty sorority girl.
Uh-oh.
And I try to recruit as many people as I possibly can.
Now, what's going on in this sequence? In this scene we're shooting here tonight? What are you?
This is a party scene. Can't you feel the festivities?
It's got a kind of sorority feel,
We got the lanterns
Jerry.
working. We got everything happening here. This is actually one of the cooler parties I've been to in my life.
Matthew, get back there about 2 seconds. What better chance?
Oh, sorry. The pressure's mounting. Alright, where do you want me to go? Continuity. Yes.
Okay, this is the one.
Go.
A lot of people wanted to be in this movie. Is that because they all liked the first movie so much? Did you love it?
I did. I really enjoyed Scream. I think that we needed a Scream movie. You know, the writing is so witty and it's sort of fresh and hip and young and new, you know?
Hey, baby. Want to dance?
I'd love to. With that tall, wide
What? Okay, that was the one.
Was it all tough for you to fit in, given the fact that so many people had a relationship on the first movie? You're like the new kid in town.
Not at all. You know, everybody's been really great. Like, we were just down in Atlanta, and we hung out every night, like all of us. And we went to like at least 15 different restaurants together, and just went to clubs and partied, and really got to know each other. So it was fun. Nobody was like, oh, the new kid. Let them just try to figure it out by themselves.
How you doing? The witch being nice to you?
Oh, painfully nice.
We know most of these other people in the movie. Who are you?
I play Derek, Nev's boyfriend, and I'm a very good guy. I'm a very nice guy, but you know, you can't always trust those nice guys in these movies.
Wes works pretty quickly, doesn't he? He knows what he wants.
Wes works very quickly. Actually, I went to NYU Film. I did 2 papers on Wes Craven.
Really?
I'm thinking about bringing them in so he could sign them, but I'm afraid he'll find flaws in them. He is, as far as I'm concerned, the best actor-director I have ever worked with.
Now, you've worked with a few pretty decent actors-directors in your time. Rob Reiner, Cameron Crowe.
He is a great actor-director, Wes. I mean, those guys aren't too shabby, but Wes is right up there.
Were you stunned by the success of the first movie?
Yeah. Personally, in my opinion, of why it was so successful is because it finally gave the audience some credit and sort of let them in on the joke and didn't take them for granted, like a lot of blockbuster films do. And Courtney Cox was in it, of course, and she always is a big, incredibly huge draw.
Did you know you were going to come back for a sequel if they did one when you were making the first movie?
Well, I mean, they've always thought of this as a trilogy. They've always said that from the second I read the first one. But you never know. I mean, you didn't know if it was going to do well or not, but I knew that if Wes Craven was going to do it, and David and Nev, I would definitely.
Is there any sense you can give us as to what actually takes place, at least at the very beginning of this movie?
A book has been written by Гэйл Uэзерс, Courtney Cox's character, that has been turned into a movie called Stab. So that is opening about the same time that our story begins.
Behind me, the opening sequence for the sequel to Scream, in which all kinds of interesting things are going to happen. You'll see behind me, it's a sneak preview for the movie Stab. You could probably say this, we saw you online for this movie
Yes.
Stab.
I have yet to see it. We're just shooting that part, you know. All I know is that it's called Stab, and then the line is, this might hurt, so.
And it so often does.
Right, you know. So we're going to see a movie Stab, and
this is you and Omar Epps.
yes, me and the very handsome Omar Epps are going to see Stab.
Set. Ready, and camera action.
I hate scary movies. I should be studying. I got a bio lab
Excuse me.
due.
Did I mention that we have free tickets? Free.
Sandra Bullock is right there in the street.
Look, baby, nobody want to pay $7.50 to see a Sandra Bullock movie.
And what's happening? We couldn't hear your dialogue. What's happening in this scene here?
We're just going to see Stab. Yeah, that's all we doing here. Just going to a movie within a movie.
What'd you like about the first one?
I like the first one because you watched it until the end. You didn't know until the end, so it was still a classic horror film, or suspense film, rather.
The best thing that could happen is this kind of a film, which is available to a very popular, wide audience. Can be also smart and exciting and innovative, and will draw in both audiences and talent on the directing and acting side that will get a chance to work in things that they might not have had a chance otherwise.
So will you do number 3 if they do a third one on your next hiatus, or will you?
If I don't die in this one, and I still don't know, so, you know, I don't know. It's my last day of filming, you'd think I'd know. But I don't know what happens to myself.
If they make a third one, would you grow the mustache again? Would you come back as a twin brother without the mustache?
Well, I don't know. If I made it to a third one. Well, in this one, I have sort of injuries from the last one. So if I was to pull through again, or if I was the killer, because in sequels, the killer never dies.
Do they have you signed for Scream 3, or are you going to think about that before you?
I'll be thinking about that.